Wish is the latest animated feature film from Walt Disney Animation Studios and tells the story of a young girl named Asha who wishes on a star that gets a more direct answer than she bargained for when a troublemaking star comes down from the sky to join her on her quest to give all the wishes back to Roses. Now, if you know me personally, you know that I love Disney, or at least I used to love Disney. They were a company that made some of the most influential animated films ever. From their first animated feature Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs all the way to now with movies like Encanto or The Lion King or Aladdin or Big Hero 6 or Zootopia or Wreck-It Ralph. They still can at times make good movies. Lately though, they've been pretty lazy. I didn't see Strange World because it was uninteresting to me. The Encanto movie was pretty good, but Wreck-It Ralph was don't care about it. Frozen 2 was fine, I guess, but really uninspired. There really hasn't been a ton of great animated films from Walt Disney Animated Studios. And I was hoping for the 100th anniversary that will change. But this was dull. This was one of the most boring films I've ever seen from this company ever, in fact. I can't think of a more boring film to really be talking about, because this film, while trying to go back to a more traditional way of storytelling, ends up feeling boring and not like it's pushing the limits. What I love about Disney, as you see their progression over the years, that even when they are in a slump, they come back with a new revolutionary way of telling stories or pushing the boundaries of animation or storytelling. And that's why we have stuff like the older films with Pinocchio or Snow White or Cinderella. Then we got the Dark Ages. Then that led to the Disney Renaissance. Then we got the mediocre 2000s films, though some of them are pretty good, to then the 2010s where they seem to make pretty good 3D animated films that do feel distinguishable enough from Pixar. It feels like they're pushing the boundaries of storytelling further in giving us new songs and characters to latch onto. Now we're in another slump. But at the worst possible time, on the 100th anniversary, we got a 2D, 3D mix of animation here that is trying to copy from stuff like Arcane or Puss in Boots in the Last Wish or the Spider-Verse films, and it just makes the whole movie look unfinished. None of the locations, in fact, it's only one location really, it's Roses. This entire Kingdom of Roses feels so bland. It felt colorless. It doesn't feel like a place that exhibits magic or wonder. It just felt like a boring old castle that you could see anywhere. Nothing about this place screams iconic in design or in personality from the background characters or even the supporting characters. Anya's friends are, I guess, a fine joke on the Seven Dwarves, but they really have no personality, and I can't remember a single one of their names, and they all just felt very superfluous to the plot, and that they're just there to move things forward for our main character, and I just didn't care about them. They didn't feel like actual characters that Anya's really friends with. They just felt bland. As well as the queen herself of Roses, who is like the queen to the king. She is whatever, and I didn't really care much about her character arc as it is very predictable. And as for Anya herself, man, what a boring character, as I said, like with all the other characters. She is very bland. I understand that she wants to become the apprentice in the beginning, but then something happens that led to her wanting to grant everyone's wishes. But I really don't understand why the specific wish of her family is really important to her. I understand why she thinks it's important to her family, and if they gave us more details as to why she loves this new family that she has all so much, then I could understand. But we only get like bits of a flashback of her previous life with her previous dad, but it's only brought up 2 times and never again. It's never deeply explored. We don't get any insights into why she is the way she is, and she ends up feeling bland and boring. And it doesn't help with the fact that everything almost always goes well with her until the very end, when the climax is to happen, and then mistakes start to happen. But then, with the power of bullshit, everything just goes back to the way it should be. And normally, it's like, what is this movie trying to do? As for the king himself, played by Chris Pine, he started off compelling at first. His insights are very shady, and you can tell that there might be some good intentions here, but also a bit of selfishness in his way of thinking. He starts to become an interesting character until he opens this book of sorcery bullshit, and then he becomes a flat, generic villain. Now, you could have a villain that is just so evil, plainly, that he becomes enthralling to watch. The High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 presents that perfectly. He is just a cold, heartless villain, down to the bone, to the point where you want to see the heroes beat his ass so badly. He is ruthless, he is psychotic, and I love that character, as he presents not only a significant foil to Rocket and the Guardians, his performance sells it, and the way his character is written is so sadistic, as he does so much in the film that makes you hate him. You understand his way of thinking and everything, but you don't sympathize with it at all. He is a pure definition of an unsympathetic villain. And I felt like in the last half of this movie, Wish, they wanted to have an unsympathetic villain, but the first half wanted him to be a complex and sympathetic one. And it felt like this movie was written by 2 completely different people that had 2 completely different ideas with his character, and he just feels all over the place. There are some scenes with him that felt like they were deleted, and it led to significant events in the film that feel all chopped up in the editing room, and it led to a lot of the pacing feeling very rushed. And while I am all for a short runtime if necessary, I felt like this movie could have used a few extra scenes with the king slowly getting into the sorcery stuff, as we see his mind slowly deteriorate, and not just all of a sudden complete character change. And I just didn't really care for what he's doing at this point now. And if I don't care about the main conflict with the villain, with the main character, what am I to care about in this main story, really? Because this is the whole point of the film, to grant everyone's wishes, which has some level of truth to it, for it to not all be wished. And the beginning of the film, when he tried to explain that, you could kind of understand what he's going for. But because Anya is such a good character and wants everyone's wishes granted, I just was like confused. And while I understand that she said that some need to be definitely checked, the fact that she's willing to give everything back at the very end of the film just neglects that entire bit of dialogue there, that some wishes should be checked before they are given back or something like that. It's like, that's what the king was trying to do. You provoked him into this sorcery thing, but also the writers themselves just felt like they tried to pull some bullshit around to try and get him to the sorcery stuff, and neglected everything written in the beginning of the film, because as sloppy as it was, it could have made for an overall okay foundation to build upon in the rest of the film. But no, they decided to go the generic traditional route, and I just didn't care for the story. It felt like this movie was written by two different people. And as for the songs, apart from one song with a fine enough melody, they're all terrible. They're all bad, poorly sung. The lyrics are weird, especially for "This Is the Thanks I Get." Like, these song numbers just felt off, and they just feel like they happen way too close to each other and that there are way too many. I felt like this movie could have cut down on some of the songs to have it paced out a lot better, focus on getting the plot going in a few places to put back some deleted scenes that made some scene transitions feel janky. It felt like there were too many songs that took up too much screen time. Overall, this movie was boring. Like, this is a movie that I'm not even angry at, just disappointed. And I cannot find anything good really to say about it, because while there's nothing here inherently terrible, there's nothing here that I could say is overall good or at least okay. This is a pure definition of a forgettable movie that you are never going to remember. And it's so sad that this has to be the 100th anniversary of Disney. In 100 years had unfortunately led to a passionlessly made feature film with no heart put into it whatsoever. It has hard work, and it definitely, like, the animator put their blood, sweat, and tears in this. The directors at least tried to direct it. The filmmakers try to make a movie, and respect to filmmakers who try to make a movie. I try to make my own stuff too, and I understand how hard it is. I have to be honest, this movie was nothing, and it's going to be remembered as nothing as the years go on. I don't see this film getting any resurgence at all in the future. In fact, this movie is most likely going to be forgotten before the end of this year. Because I can tell you this, I've already forgotten most of the movie, literally. Like, this is my second attempt at making this review, because I forgot the main character, Anya, in the film. I forgot her name, is how much I don't care. So, overall, I don't recommend this. Go watch another Disney film like The Lion King or Aladdin or Pinocchio or literally anything else. That's debatable. Chicken Run is still a thing. I'm gonna give Wish a D-. It was so close to an F, but it was at least a competently made film. Just nothing in it was done above good, or at least okay. And I cannot recommend a movie that offers legitimately nothing to you. So overall, that's my grade. These are my thoughts on Wish. Disney, please do better. I love you still. I want you to make good movies again. Please, you have talented creators there that are willing to work their butts off for you if you pay them well. Just give these animators or directors a good script made with passion. Stop churning out these soulless remakes or cash grabs or ideas that are original, but you just throw them away or just do nothing special with it. Please start to take risks, because at this point, that is what Disney needs. They need to reinvent the wheel again, and that's the only way I can see them succeed if they are to push forward with their animation studios, because as of now, playing it safe doesn't work anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.